The FBI now believes the man who ploughed a pickup truck into pedestrians in New Orleans, killing 14 people, acted alone, as more than 1,000 law enforcement agents pieced together what happened. Investigators say Shamsud-Din Jabbar, a US citizen from Texas, posted videos declaring his allegiance to Islamic State in the hours before the attack.
Tributes are pouring in for the revellers who died. We're going now straight to North America Bureau Chief Jade Macmillan, who's in New Orleans, where extra police are out in force as the city prepares to host a major college football game. Jade, can you tell us what's the latest from where you are?
Well, this is Bourbon Street, Steph, such a famous part of New Orleans, a real tourist hotspot, a party hotspot, where this terrifying attack played out on New Year's Eve. It's been reopened to the public in the past couple of hours, so visitors are returning to this area. Bars and restaurants have opened. There is music being played. Officials here hoping to get this area back to normal and start to bring back that atmosphere of celebration that this part of the United States is so famous for. But the investigation into this deadly terrorist attack is continuing. Police have revised or clarified the death toll. They had said that 15 people had been killed. We now know that that included the suspect, Shamsud-Din Jabbar. They have also said that they now believe he was acting alone. There was an Islamic State group flag located in the trailer of the pickup truck that he used to drive through a crowd of people here. They've also said that he posted videos to social media in the hours before the attack suggesting that he'd been inspired by ISIS. There was concern that he may have been working with accomplices, but they now say, police now say that they have got surveillance footage showing Jabbar planting 2 improvised explosive devices in other parts of this area of the French Quarter in New Orleans before the attack took place. They say that both of those devices were dealt with safely. They've also said that they don't think at this stage that there is any connection to what happened here and the explosion of a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Las Vegas hotel of President-elect Donald Trump yesterday. So the focus for investigators really is still on trying to understand who this suspect is. We know that he's a US citizen from Texas, an Army veteran, how he could have come to the point where he caused so much violence.
Is that he was 100% inspired by ISIS, and so we're digging through more of the social media, more interviews, working with some of our other partners to ascertain just how to ascertain a little bit more about that connection.
And Jade, obviously this awful attack occurred, just over 24 hours ago. We can see there's a police car behind you. We just saw a heavily armed officer walk behind you. But this is also a huge day for New Orleans. This Sugar Bowl football game is one of the highlights of the year. How are people there feeling today?
Yeah, New Orleans as a city really prides itself on being a place that hosts big public events, that is a part of the United States where people come together and come to celebrate. So officials have really stressed that they believe that the thousands of people expected to attend that big college football game taking place today, that they can attend that in confidence, that they have made sure it's safe. That game was supposed to get underway yesterday. It was postponed for roughly 24 hours because of security concerns. It had drawn a lot of people to the city. We've spoken to people here who'd come to New Orleans specifically for New Year's Eve, and lots of others who'd come in anticipation of that college football game getting underway. People have told us that they feel confident, they feel safe, that they're heading to that event, obviously incredibly saddened by what has taken place, but that they feel confident in heading to that venue today.
I don't think we should be, scared off from, one act of terror or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I think it's good that the game's going on.
Yes, I wanted the game to go on, but I also wanted everybody to be okay and everything to be safe. And if we didn't have to have it, it would suck. But, we'd be safe. So that's a good trade-off, right? I think the city's done a great job. I think that a lot of people are upset about the fact that they postponed the game, but I think it was the right thing to do.
So, Steph, a heavy police presence around that venue where that football game is taking place. Also, police visibly on the streets here on Bourbon Street in this French Quarter, the really busy tourist area of New Orleans, as the investigations into what happened continue. We're also learning more about those 14 people who lost their lives. They included a woman who was aspiring to be a nurse, a man who was a former football star. There are communities in various parts of the United States mourning their loss today.
And we hope that that match today goes off without a hitch. Jade Macmillan, thank you.
To breaking news in South Australia now. The search has resumed for the body of a man who's believed to have been killed by a shark on SA's west coast. For more, our reporter Sophie Landau joins us from Adelaide. Sophie, good morning. What's the latest?
Good morning, Emma. Well, the search has picked back up for a 28-year-old Port Lincoln man who police believe was the victim of a fatal shark attack last night. The surfer was going for a wave at the granites near Streaky Bay off the state's west coast. Police say witnesses saw the attack just after 7 last night and started searching the waters. A fisher posted to social media yesterday afternoon saying he was aware of a large aggressive shark in those waters. The surfer's body is yet to be found, and an air, land and water search is on with help from police, SES and locals. The beach is closed to the public, and Emma, generally speaking, this is going to rock the world of surfers and also people in the West Coast. They're going to be feeling pretty raw because last year was a pretty horror year for shark attacks. In the last 18 months, there's been an unprecedented spate of shark attacks in South Australia, with 3 fatal last year. Generally speaking, they are rare events, but scientists don't know why this trend is happening. So shark mitigation programs and technology will be front of the conversation. But for now, Emma, the search continues for the 28-year-old man at Granites.
Yeah, incredibly sad story. Sophie, thank you.
Heatwave conditions are returning to swathes of the country, with temperatures to soar into the 40s in some areas. The heatwave will be considered severe in parts of Tasmania, Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia and Western Australia. Authorities are urging people to stay indoors and keep an eye on each other.
Broadcaster Al Jazeera has slammed the Palestinian Authority's decision to suspend its operations in the West Bank, accusing it of mimicking Israeli media censorship policies. The Palestinian Authority has accused Al Jazeera of incitement and interference in the West Bank. Al Jazeera insists the suspension will not stop its reporting.
Northern Territory Health is urging residents to help stop mozzies breeding around their homes. They say residents should do a whip around their backyard once a week, tipping out stagnant water as conditions bring mosquitoes out in full force. A wave of salt marsh mozzies is expected to arrive with the next rains.
Queensland's Water Authority says Brisbane's tap water is still safe to drink after locals reported earthy odours in the supply last week. The South East's main water supplier says the odd taste and smell were because of hot and wet weather conditions. It says the rain and the summer heat have led to these non-toxic changes, which should clear up by the weekend.
It's really important for people to understand that the water is safe to drink. So these are organic compounds that exist in all aquatic environments around the world.
Time for a look at global markets now. Our futures are pointing down. The Dow Jones on the first day of trade of 2025 is pointing down as well. It's had a fairly volatile start. The Australian dollar, it's up ever so slightly. It's now buying 62.02 US cents. Brent crude and gold are pointing upwards.
Robbie Williams fans are still vibing after a free concert in Melbourne's CBD that drew thousands of people to Federation Square. Some fans even travelled interstate for the surprise performance. The British superstar, who was handed the keys to the city, also promoted his biopic, which was partly filmed at Docklands Studio.